Hello, preview show, and we are playing Sheffield Wednesday at home. Skipper in the side will be Elliott Moore.
So Elliott, 4 weeks of training behind you now. How are you feeling ahead of Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, we're all in a good mood. We're all confident. We're all looking forward to it. You know, it's a great game. It'll be a great atmosphere, and you know, it's time for us to put things right on the last two performances and show what we can do on Saturday.
Yeah, those last two performances were disappointing. You won't shy away from that, but you've got to channel that into a motivation now, haven't you?
Of course, you know, we've got to look at the things that we did poorly. We've got to look at things that we did well, and you know, we've got to correct the things that we did not so good and put them right on Saturday.
The last time we played Sheffield Wednesday, that 2-1 win, I thought was a real statement performance at the time. I guess you've got the opportunity to do exactly that again, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's shown a lot of people and a lot of teams around us that we can compete with the big teams, and you know, we need to do that again on Saturday and show that we're not on a dip, we're not falling down, we're put things right and go forward. Yeah,
and even when you're facing those little tricky spells, you don't dwell on it, do you? You carry on, pick yourselves up, and you continue.
Yeah, it's a long season, and we're only midway through now. If we'd have said we'll be in and around the top spot in January, I think everyone would have took that. So we're in a good place. So now we've just got to push on for the last half of the season now.
We haven't played Sheffield Wednesday at home for, I think it's over 20 years now. It's a fixture that I think the fans will really kind of rise to, won't they? They're going to be looking forward to it.
Yeah, they bring a good following. We'll have a good fan base on the game on Saturday. I think it'll be a great game, great atmosphere, and hopefully we can get the result.
I think in recent games it's almost a message of when you're on top and in those spells, you just have to take those chances, don't you?
Of course, I think this league has shown in the past few weeks, especially that you have to take your chances, but you also have to stop teams creating chances because they take theirs. And at the minute, things are not falling for us in different ways, and we need to hopefully put that right on Saturday.
Yeah, and that all starts on Saturday against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, it's a massive game, and hopefully we can give the fans something to cheer about.
So it's important that we keep you up to date with everything that's going on at the club in the preview show. It's a chance for everybody behind the scenes to talk about it. And with the new stadium now announced, we thought we'd get Niall McWilliams on more times than we have been doing. So here's what he had to say about this week's developments. Right, usually at the end of the preview show, I muck about, Neil. I know you love the preview shows. I usually muck about and do the name game or muck about with the player. But there's serious things which we just need to address, so don't muck about. That's my advice to you here. I have 2 questions for you. The first question, obviously the stadium decision this week, just a formal reaction from the board, from yourself, from the club. What does that actually mean for the future of Oxford United, the fact it's been delayed by a month?
Well, I think everyone's got to put it in context, because that's not unusual. It's not an unusual, basically, I suppose, procedure from the county council. For me, it's a positive aspect of the meeting, because in reality it allows us, obviously working within a framework and guided by the county council, to actually go out and be able to meet people face to face. And explain our plans, and hopefully allay some of the concerns and some of the concerns in relation to the project. So for us it's positive, and we're really pleased, and we're very grateful to the county council for listening to our proposal.
I think there's it's probably a minority of fans who thought we were just there'd be a spade in the ground now, digging it out and stuff. It's going to be a long process. We've been at pains to stress that.
Yeah, we have, and we've always said there's so many. This was the sort of start of the conversation in relation to, I suppose, negotiations with and conversation with the council. So it's going to be a long process, and I know we just used that term. There's still so many hurdles for us to overcome. Of course, we remain hopeful, because the football club is of course it's very important and close to the community and close to our heart. I always think it's the same words all the time. It's not just about football. It's about providing international and world-class facilities for this county, give this county something to be, in terms of facilities, something to be proud of, which in reality won't just be about football, by the way. It'll also be about, the wider cultural aspects. So, listen, we're pleased, and that we're allowed to give them the go-ahead to go and engage with people and speak to people on a sort of a wider and more in-depth basis.
Good. And the last question, it's about the game on Saturday. Hopefully there's a crowd of over 10,000. I know it's going to be close, maybe over 10,000.
Yeah, I'm confident it'll be over 10,000.
So then the protocols, because the Prime Minister has changed protocols.
Correct.
But it's next week. So just for fans, COVID passports, etc., what is the situation?
Yeah, so for us, the rules are the rules. So at this moment in time, those rules don't alter until next week, as you said. So we have to have to provide some proof of a negative lateral flow test, or a COVID passport to be able to attend the game. And obviously that looks like as from next week, and you never quite know in case things change again. It looks like as from next week that will no longer be in place.
So it could be one game where people have got to...
I think it could be one game, but in reality, Chris, for so many clubs, there have been so many games. So in some ways, let's be perfectly honest here, and obviously even for us at Wickham last week. So for example, if you're going into specific areas, even though the crowd was less than 10,000, you still had to have a proof of a negative LFT or a COVID passport. So it looks like it'll be only one game, but I think so many other clubs have had so many other games. I'm just absolutely delighted that we've managed to, through the EFL working, the government have actually managed to keep crowds attending the matches. So hopefully, and you just never quite know, it's the first step back to normality.
Yeah, that's my last question. Are we going to get back to normality this season with no COVID restrictions? I know you're clairvoyant on this. What do you think?
Yeah, difficult question to answer. I very much hope so. I think as well for us, I think it's also clear to see, and I think it's important to know that our crowds are going up. And we've always said that this football club has so much potential, and it's great to see the crowds going up. We're very, very hopeful that between now and the end of the season at the Kassam we'll have quite a few crowds over 10,000, and hopefully that will give the team a lift and spur them on.
That's Niall McWilliams on the new stadium. Martin, you were around when we moved from the Manor to the Kassam Stadium. You were part of the foul group, and you were around. Well, you are still a foul group. Funny old time. It wasn't as simple as we're going to move ground, start digging the foundations out, was it? It took a while.
It took a long time. In fact, they were searching for a new ground for at least 40 years. For 40 years. That's search for the sites and everything like that. Obviously, we've identified the site much quicker than that, but planning commission assuming. But from actually getting permission to build at the Military Farm site to putting the first shovel in the ground took a good couple of years at least, and then actually getting the stadium finished from a bit the three-sided scaffolding to what it is now took a few more years.
Well, because there were two. We've been digging around in the archives, by the way. We're digitising the archive. Well, he's digitising the archives. So there's loads of pictures I'm putting over as I'm speaking now. This is what it looked like before we built a football stadium there.
Yeah.
And then there was two and a half years when there was just steelworks.
Yeah, just three sides of steelworks. Yeah, which obviously when they restarted works, a lot of that had to be replaced because it all got rusty, and all the concrete had to be replaced because that had crumbled. But so there was a big period. They were actually. The stadium was supposed to open in August 1997. Didn't actually open until August 2001.
When it did open, I was around and it was mad. The last push to get it done, but there was a long way until we get there. So just be patient, I think is the message.
I think, definitely, yeah. I mean, anything can happen between now and when we're supposed to move into the new stadium. Should it happen?
So, we're not going to put a deadline on it, and I promise you we'll get Neil on here to talk about it as and when things develop. There's really not much you can say though, is there?
Well, no.
Unlike you, who we're playing Sheffield Wednesday. You missed the game at Sheffield.
I did. I was in Poland, which is a very similar experience, I imagine.
Sheffield and family wedding. You've now been doing the programme. We should really be proofreading. These are the proofs that we have yet to actually make. Yeah. You think there's a lot of mistakes in the programme. You should see how many there are on here to read it better, especially my pages. He has to serious editing.
Rewrite them.
What is in there? I'll try and wave a page at people so they can spot the mistakes. What's in there?
Interview with Steve Seddon.
Is that him?
Yeah,
that's Lily Stevens. Oh, well, anyway, there's loads of good stuff. What else is in it?
There's Off the Ball, talking about the Oxfordshire Senior Cup.
Oxfordshire Senior Cup next Wednesday, Kidlington away. I expect to see all of you there. I want to see a record crowd at
Yarnton Road.
Stratfield Break. We can do some scouting, couldn't we?
Yeah.
If anyone's got a camp, we'll come there with the spade and the fork and we'll pretend to start digging, shall we?
You've got a hard hat, Laura.
Did you ever visit the stadium when it wasn't built? Did you ever visit the Kazam Stadium in its building process?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
So there are pictures of you in a little hard hat poking around in the rusty stands?
There are no pictures. They didn't happen. I deny everything.
Good. So what are we talking about? Programme.
Yeah.
Good. You're also writing about the stadium being built for the magazine. There'll be another magazine
there will be,
coming up. Apart from the Senior Cup, there's one other game I want to mention. Women's game on Sunday. You've been going to watch them. Quite a lot. Carl's been going to watch nearly every game he's there. Yeah. How are they doing?
Very well. 100% home record this season. Played 7-1-7. They look very solid at home.
Who are they playing on Sunday?
Chichester and Chelsea.
Double header,
yeah. Who are second from bottom, so I'm hoping for a bit of a goal fest. So we'll see.
People at home, I have no idea where Chichester or Chelsea is. Portsmouth?
Yeah, it's around that way. It's somewhere South Hampshire way.
Okay. Yeah. So wrap up warm. Go and see them on Sunday. Niall's already talked about the protocols for Saturday. Get your COVID passports. We've got to do it as staff. Everybody's got to do that. I think it'll just be one game. Make sure you've got that. We'll see you Saturday. It should be a good game, shouldn't it?
I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good atmosphere and a good game.
See you there.